On World News Tonight this Tuesday, in Washington, delicate discussions about whether a deal could be made to spare the president. Hurricane George rampages through the Caribbean. Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic are not spared. And for millions of workers, a paycheck from a different place every week. We'll take a closer look at free agents in the workplace.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. What a difference a day makes, or videotape testimony makes. In the Washington political establishment today, there are the faintest signs that a political deal to spare President Clinton the impeachment process is inching its way into the serious debate about his future. Nothing cut and dried by a very long shot. But now that the country has seen the president's videotape testimony, there are hints. And so we start at the White House with Sam Donaldson. How strong are the hints, Sam?
Well, Peter, no one will say it on the record, but various sources close to the White House defense strategy suggest the president may be willing to stop arguing that he did not lie under oath as part of a deal with Congress that would spare him the prospect of impeachment and removal from office.
Good afternoon.
Presidential Press Secretary Mike McCurry chose his words carefully.
We are working hard to try to see if there's some way to proceed in a way that does what is in the best interest of this country.
McCurry said the president is very much involved in this search for a way out.
He will continue to have the conversations he's been having, and certainly will listen carefully to the kinds of suggestions that the White House staff and others working with the White House have been receiving from others.
Maybe so, but when the president was asked directly if he's paying attention to any aspect of this, he said,
"Not much. Believe it or not, I haven't read the report or my lawyer's replies. I think it's important that I focus on what I'm doing for the American people."
What the president's lawyers were doing today was sending a letter to Capitol Hill complaining that the main body of the Starr report failed to include Monica Lewinsky's sworn testimony that, quote, "No one ever asked me to lie, and I was never promised a job for my silence." That, said the lawyers, is a one-sided and unfair manipulation of the evidence. What Starr did say in his report was, while the president did not expressly instruct her to lie, according to Ms. Lewinsky, he did suggest misleading cover stories. Behind such sparring, people on both sides of this issue are exploring what might go into a deal. One suggestion is that the president present his defense to the House Judiciary Committee, perhaps even in person, and while not admit that he lied under oath, not continue to maintain that he didn't either, arguing instead that even if he did the things he's accused of, they do not rise to the level of impeachable offenses. Now, that may seem like a small shift, Peter, but there is a difference between saying, "I am not guilty," and "even if I am guilty, it's not important enough to warrant sending me out of Auschwitz."
Thanks very much, Sam. Sam Donaldson at the White House. No secret to all of you that the president's speech got a tremendous amount of attention from the media, and our polling unit has been sampling public opinion since. The speech does not appear to have changed many minds. A majority still say the president should not resign or be impeached. 68% of those who did pay attention thought that the word which best described the president's answers to most questions was evasive. 68% say the president was right not to discuss the details of his sexual activity with Monica Lewinsky. The public does seem to have a broader definition of sexual relations than Mr. Clinton. Unlike the president, 81% say that sexual relations does include oral sex as well as sexual intercourse. In Congress today, where they control the fate of the president, members almost certainly had their eyes on the polls. One congressman said, "As we judge the president, America will be judging us." And so after a day to think about the president's testimony, has Congress had any serious change of heart? From Capitol Hill tonight, ABC's Linda Douglas.
Today, for the first time in weeks, when Senate Democrats met behind closed doors, sources say they did not rail against the president or mutter about how much they'd like to see him go. Many said Mr. Clinton's videotape testimony may have helped him. Senate Minority Leader Tom Daschle, who's been critical of the president, sounded more positive today.
The overnight polling data suggests that the American people now have a more sympathetic view of the president than they had before, and I think that's a reflection of what they view to be the fairness of this process.
Congressional sources say more Democrats have been talking about a deal to punish Mr. Clinton without going through impeachment hearings, censuring him, fining him, even reducing his pension. They know Republicans are likely to reject an effort to short-circuit the impeachment process, but at the very least, Democrats could then accuse Republicans of prolonging the country's misery. Today, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee batted away questions about making a deal.
Well, there's an old saying, that's above my pay grade. I don't know. I would say that's very premature to talk about that. That is a decision, if it ever gets that far, that the Senate would make, but we'll see.
Which is another way of saying that no matter what talk of deals is around, the House is still headed toward impeachment hearings. And Peter, it doesn't seem that there's much the White House can do to head them off.
Very much, Linda Douglas on Capitol Hill. As we said, don't hold your breath. Nothing's going to happen in a great hurry. We'll be back with some of the other news today in just a moment. Hurricane George running roughshod through the Caribbean and now heading for Florida. And pumping up young athletes and the new campaign to boost a controversial product.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by the new Dodge.
You have to dig deep to find the source of Intrepid's solid feel. Reinforced door openings, strategically placed steel beams, and an isolated suspension cradle all contribute to Intrepid's supple ride. Take away that sturdy foundation and you have, well, nothing. Dodge Intrepid. We're changing everything. Again. Lease Dodge Intrepid now for just $269 a month.
A bunch of us here in Lafayette, Colorado ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. It helped reduce my cholesterol 16 points. My bowling average is still a little lower than my cholesterol, but I'm working on it. Quaker oatmeal warms your heart and soul.
1 Minute Maalox.
In hospital pharmacies, they work fast. They dispense medicines that work fast. And for heartburn, the #1 choice of hospital pharmacies is 1 Minute Maalox, not Pepcid AC. Maalox goes to work on stomach acid in 1 minute. Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes to affect acid. Hospital pharmacies count on the speed of 1 Minute Maalox. Shouldn't you?
The #1 choice of hospital pharmacies. It's not Pepcid AC, it's 1 Minute Maalox.
In the Caribbean tonight, the powerful Hurricane George is rolling through the Dominican Republic and Haiti and maybe in Cuba by the morning. For much of the day, Santo Domingo had to endure winds of up to 120 miles an hour and very heavy rain. 3 people in the Dominican Republic have died. Hurricane George has wrecked one island after another and was especially vicious in Puerto Rico. ABC's Juju Chang is in San Juan tonight.
The hurricane swirled straight across Puerto Rico. It was a direct hit. George sent anything that wasn't bolted down, and even things that had been, flying through the streets of San Juan.
Come on.
Tourists clutching pillows and blankets were taken into stairwells of high-rise hotels, away from flying glass.
It was just unbelievable. I mean, we were standing here, and the windows blew all over us, and then they took us to the stairwells. They made us stay there for like 6.5 hours.
The storm's onslaught chased tens of thousands of residents into shelters.
The hurricane-force winds knocked down so many trees and along with them power lines that the entire island of Puerto Rico was without power following the hurricane. And because electricity fuels the water pumping stations, 80% of the island found itself without running water.
Streets covered with debris became a virtual obstacle course. Many were completely blocked.
The people are trying to clean up our transportation systems, our roads, our avenues, our highways.
Work crews began chopping up and sweeping up after the high winds and torrential rain. Hurricane George demolished Susana Febres' home and nearly everything inside. When I saw my house, it destroyed me, she said, but thank God I'm alive. Susana, as well as many who live in the Caribbean, had prepared for the storm. She was not prepared for this. Juju Chang, ABC News, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
All of South Florida and the Florida Keys in particular are nervous about George. Tourists were ordered to evacuate the Keys today. They boarded up the National Hurricane Center in Miami. That's a sign. Forecasters say that George may reach the Keys as early as Thursday. In Japan, the weather story is Typhoon Vicky. 9 people have died following that storm's landfall today. High winds and heavy rain also knocked out power to more than 1 million people. In New York today, President Clinton met with one of the most important players in the current global economic crisis, the Japanese Prime Minister. For months, the President and his Treasury Secretary Bob Rubin have said that unless the Japanese economy improves and Japanese consumers start spending, the economic mess in the world can only get worse. Here's ABC's Morton Dean.
The Japanese Prime Minister came here knowing that he would come under enormous pressure to get his economy moving again. While he said he favored reform, he would not predict what his parliament would do.
I'm neither optimistic nor pessimistic on this.
The U.S. has long complained Japan is dragging down the world economy.
I think there is virtually unanimous support in the world for the kind of financial reforms that would restore economic growth in Japan.
Specifically, the U.S. wants Japan to shut down some of its insolvent banks and begin a bailout process that might dwarf what Washington did for the savings and loans. Japan's banking industry is crippled by more than $1 trillion in bad loans.
Well, the banks can't do their main job now. They can't lend because so many of their old loans are duds.
The dysfunctional banking system and the reluctance of Japanese to spend their savings on their own and foreign goods have helped push Japan's economy into its devastating downturn. And again today, there's no evidence that Japan will in fact follow the tough measures the U.S. and others have been pushing for so long. Morton Dean, ABC News, New York.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials lost 36 points to close at 78.97. On the NASDAQ market, stocks gained more than 17 points. One other note from overseas, 600 South African troops crossed into the small kingdom of Lesotho this morning, answering a plea from the Prime Minister there to beat back the rebels who claim he rigged the last election. The South Africans managed to recapture the Royal Palace and several other buildings, but at least 10 soldiers and 5 civilians were killed in the process. When we come back, Mark McGuire's muscle drug.
Recently, we flew Carrie Eisenhandler and her family to Johns Hopkins for surgery to correct a pre-existing heart condition. We flew Eric Gonzalez to the Cleveland Clinic because of their renowned expertise in treating Crohn's disease. Hopefully, these stories fly in the face of the belief that healthcare isn't what it used to be. We're Aetna U.S. Healthcare, raising the quality of healthcare in America.
Your work is done.
So powerful.
It's time to kick back and have some fun.
So agile.
You got the car now.
DeVille with the North Star system.
For who you are now, you're making whoopee.
DeVille for the time of your life.
Oh, look at you.
My mama, she makes the best chicken cacciatore this side of Italy. The best! But sometimes I get heartburn from my mama's cacciatore. So before I come over, I take a Pepsid AC. Forgive me, mama.
Mio figlio adora il mio pollo alla cacciatore. Però io, dopo un pezzettino, che indigestione, devo prendere un Pepsid AC.
Before a meal or after, Pepsid AC lets you eat the food you love.
Guarda che faccia sto figlio mio.
You can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
The home run derby between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa winds up this weekend. It's been terrific for baseball. And as it turns out, it's been an unintended boon for a controversial muscle-building drug known as Andro. Sammy Sosa does not use Andro, but Mark McGwire, who's ahead in the home run count, does. And now Andro is going to get even more attention because ESPN, which is owned by ABC's parent company, began running the first national television ads for it. Here's ABC's Judy Muller.
The makers of Androstenedione, or Andro as it's called, hope to peddle their product to a much bigger audience.
I just know it could help you add size, strength, and cuts without the risks.
The first ever TV ad for the controversial supplement follows a recent surge in sales, sparked by McGuire's disclosure that he uses Andro, which boosts testosterone. It's banned by many professional sports, but not by Major League Baseball. Some physicians worry about McGuire's influence on young athletes.
They've got the message that what their bodies do normally isn't enough. In order to get big and strong, they have to use something else, and it carries over into the rest of their adult physical life.
That is, it may carry over into their adult life. No one knows the long-term effects of these supplements on the body. The FDA does not test or regulate them, since they're sold as dietary supplements in health stores, not as drugs in a pharmacy. Teenagers are especially at risk with Andro, since too much testosterone can eventually cause heart and liver damage. Many young athletes are already using another controversial supplement, an amino acid called creatine. Utah high school football player Ryan Bingham says it helped him gain more than 45 pounds. Is he now tempted to take Andro? Ryan concedes his interest was piqued by McGuire's example.
Anything to, help you out or, make you stronger, I mean, you're looking at it.
Ryan decided not to sample Andro. After all, he's already bench pressing 410 pounds. But in a world where bigger is better, untested supplements can be a powerful temptation, fueled by powerful examples. Judy Muller, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Consumer news, other consumer news, a new study shows that well-designed head restraints in cars can eliminate about a quarter of all whiplash injuries. Effective restraints are high enough to keep the head from snapping back in a crash, but many restraints need adjustment, and research shows that more than 70% of drivers never raise the headrest high enough where it can really make a difference. When we come back, looking out for number one, a closer look at the way we work.
Since you and my little girl are moving away, there's one thing you need to know. 10-10-3-2-1.
You think she'll call her mother a lot?
Yes, and hopefully her father, too. But you'll be glad that 10-10-3-2-1 saves you big time on your phone bill.
Will they talk long?
That's the beauty part. It doesn't matter. 10-10-3-2-1 saves you 50% on every call over 20 minutes.
50%? That's big.
That's huge. So those half-hour talks with her mom are going to cost you a lot less.
Dad, are you giving away the family secrets?
I gave him the best one I have.
Dial 10-10-321 to save.
I know a place.
This is not a country for wimps. We invented the cowboy, the jawbreaker, and the quarterback blitz.
I'll take you there.
We are rough on our cars. So get a Chevy Malibu. It'll go up to 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. Transmission fluid, 100,000 miles. Engine coolant, 5 years or 150,000 miles. We're talking tough. The car you knew America could build. The Chevy Malibu.
I'll take you there. Oh.
Got a cup? Get your coffee made. So many choices. It's your cup, it's your call. So rich, so creamy. It takes your coffee from ordinary to extraordinary. Your cup, your coffee made.
When some people have allergies, they sneeze a lot. Others get an itchy, runny nose or nasal congestion. Me, I had it all. So I said to my doctor, enough already. He prescribed Flonase nasal spray.
Multi-symptom Flonase. Once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and all night long. For any or all of those nasal symptoms.
All it takes is Flonase.
For best results, Flonase must be used daily. Maximum relief may take several days. Side effects are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For nasal allergy relief, ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
Enterprise? Hi, I'm at the repair shop. I need to rent a car.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
We're going to take a closer look this week at some of the dramatic ways that work in America is changing. In this century, the American workforce has more than quadrupled. Today, somewhere in America, 130 million people were doing something to make a living. Almost as many women working as men, which is very different from a generation ago. It is what we do today that indicates how the country and the economy have changed.
There are more people today who work at Walmarts than in the steel industry. There are more people who work in dentist offices than in the automobile industry. Over 3/4 of the workforce is really in the service economy.
And here's another significant change from the last generation. The average American is likely to change jobs 6 or 7 times in his or her lifetime.
As many as 1 out of every 3 people in the workforce is working in what we would call non-traditional kinds of jobs. That is, where they're only working part-time, where they're temporary workers, where they may be self-employed, a whole range of combinations.
Certainly, the idea of job loyalty is changing. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
So I did a lot more business this month than I expected.
Meet the board of directors for the 21st century.
It's not a done deal yet, or it is a done
All
deal?
over the country, entrepreneurs and independent consultants are getting together to share contacts.
So anyway, I called Joanna's lead and had a really good conversation.
Encouragement.
Those are major. I mean, that's like you're playing in a new league.
And business strategy.
Is there any way that this could backfire?
These women are part of a new workforce author Dan Pink calls free agents.
To me, the definition of a free agent is someone who is essentially, who's on their own, who is untethered from a big institution, a big company, who is kind of what I call a micro business.
From graphic designers to personal trainers to nannies, it's estimated that 25 million Americans are free agents. Nobody knows for sure. But evidence of this new workforce is growing. Filings of the 1099 tax form for the self-employed have jumped by almost 7 million in the past 10 years. Temp agencies report their revenues have doubled in 6 years. And Staples, the office supply store of free agents, opens a new outlet every 51 hours.
I just couldn't imagine getting up in the morning knowing that I have to do things because somebody else says so.
Joanna Baker is a free agent. After business school, she turned down an offer at a pharmaceutical company to start her own executive search firm.
Stuff I want to show you.
Great.
I'm working for myself. I'm working for my clients. I always think when other people are commuting, I'm doing yoga.
Free agency sounds great, and for those who choose it, it can be. But the ranks of free agents also include downsized corporate employees, day laborers, and temps who would rather be permanent.
What's more, free agents of all kinds typically earn less money and receive poorer health benefits than their corporate counterparts. Free agents also pay taxes corporate workers do not, all of which helps explain why there is an organization called Working Today.
The challenge is to bring people together.
Sarah Horowitz is a labor leader for the 90s. She founded Working Today to help free agents get better deals on health insurance, office supplies, and taxes.
If employers get a 100% tax break for health insurance and pensions, we should too.
Today she is meeting with a representative for New York City cab drivers.
They're in kind of the no man's land of protection.
Yeah, and there's no guaranteed income, and most of them are living at a poverty level.
Horowitz says politicians do not understand the potential political influence of free agents.
What's incredible is that there's really no leadership coming from Washington that's even realized that this is a political issue. And it's sort of shocking but true that they don't get it.
This is a potential political tsunami.
Dan Pink gets it. In fact, he left his job as a White House speechwriter to become a free agent himself. And by his calculation, the benefits are well worth the costs.
But again, I'm working till 11 o'clock at night many times, but I'm doing it upstairs. I'm getting up early in the morning, but I'm working in shorts.
Do you like some picture of Georgie?
I answer to myself, and I get to see my daughter a lot, which is the best part.
Millions of Americans apparently agree. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
Tomorrow, more and more Americans on the night shift. It's a living, of course, but what does it do to families? And in a moment of final thought, 2 blank pages in a German newspaper. What does that mean?
The drawing rooms of London
had not prepared us for this new world. We were overcome by the very fruits and birds and trees.
Introducing British Classics.
The air was thick with perfume.
A marriage of Victorian elegance and Caribbean soul.
The seduction was complete. It changed us forever.
British Classics from Ethan Allen, where everyone's at home. There's a sale on now.
With Transamerica Life Insurance and your estate plan, you can be sure your money will go where you want it to go. The people in the pyramid working for you.
Trains now go 300 miles an hour. Mail, 3,000 miles a second. Athletes continually break records. So how come pain relief isn't faster? Introducing Advil Liquid Gels, the first and only pain reliever in a faster-acting liquid-filled capsule that's gentle on your stomach. On tough pain, Advil Liquid Gels are stronger and faster than extra-strength Tylenol. Headaches to muscle aches. New Advil Liquid Gels. Advanced medicine for pain. Just got faster.
At Transamerica, we have specially priced life insurance policies for people who still exercise without a trainer. Call a Transamerica agent. The people in the pyramid working for you.
What makes a woman sexy?
Provocative.
Does she have a pulse?
Even the celebrities tell all. In a special you can really get excited about.
You like to watch, don't you?
Sex with Cindy Crawford, ABC premiere Tuesday tonight.
A brief review of our main story. There are hints today from the White House that the president might be willing to stop arguing that his testimony was legally accurate as part of a deal to spare him from impeachment. Nevertheless, it does appear the House of Representatives, is headed towards holding impeachment hearings nonetheless. Just a final word this evening, though not the last word necessarily, on where the president might look overseas today for comfort. Cambodia's aging King Norodom Sihanouk said today, if every country was as tough with its leader as the U.S., there would be no leaders left. Certainly many people overseas want to know whether the president lies, but millions of people are confused. Releasing Mr. Clinton's videotaped testimony said one European newspaper was a bomb attack on the office of the president. A regional French paper said the Star investigation was totalitarian. As for the conservative German newspaper Hamburger Morgenpost, under the headline, "We've had enough," two of their news pages were completely blank. The German chancellor, who's trying hard to hang on to his job in elections this weekend, said the whole spectacle made him want to throw up. And in Iran, where they know about spectacle, one newspaper blamed the American press. We had no taste, the paper said, and lacked discretion. So that is our report on World News Tonight. Later on Nightline, will it be compromise or impeachment for the president? I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. Be with us tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, the night shift. Millions work it, but is it good for them? What about the kids and raising a family? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News.